Hello, everybody. Welcome to another night of Rock the Pink Live.
We have to say that differently. It's getting really monotonous.
I think I say it very well, actually.
You
I think
do.
it's very comforting. People feel like, oh, we're back. They're back on this week.
Yeah, it feels very nice.
Yeah. We're really excited to have some special guests with us tonight.
Very special guests.
A special couple. They are a power couple in Plexus, and so we're excited about that.
We're attracted to fire, and they are on fire, so we can't wait to hear their story. They are a couple that just went, the wife went sapphire, the husband went emerald last month. And so this is hot off the presses. So
yeah, this is really excited. Cool. So real quick, let's say hi to some folks as they're jumping on.
All right.
Hey, Rosemary, Teresa.
Hey, Ryan.
Ryan, what's going on, man? Hey,
wait,
good to see you.
Do something.
Shelly, Heather. As you're jumping on, guys, say where you're hailing from. And remember, as we're going through here, if you hear something that really sticks out, you throw the comment out there because one, sometimes it'll help spark something for somebody else.
Hey, Dave.
And if there's something really good that I really like, I'll throw it up on the screen too. So, yeah, make sure you comment as we go.
Yeah, and tell us what you're excited about. Oh yeah, gosh, what am I doing here?
I don't know what you're doing. So I tell a little story,
Okay.
Just a little fun little story.
You do that.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of stuff on my plate that I've been trying to get done recently, and
don't we all?
Yeah, everybody has a lot of stuff going on.
I'm just joking.
But like I'm literally trying to build a website, write a book, build a team, and then I have all these other things. But then I have my household daily stuff. And a couple days ago, I was telling Michelle, was it yesterday? I was telling you, I was saying I need some help. I need somebody to help me with some of the chores I do around the house, around the yard, because it's just too much.
Well, we have a pool now, and the pool is surrounded by trees. And so, like normally you could get away with like sweeping the pool. Like we need to get one of those electric things.
Like we need to get like an automatic one.
But either way, like anyway. The pool has to be like completely cleaned every day. It's like disaster with leaves.
So Michelle's like, well, we can get the kids to help you with that. And so she assigns our kids to go out and help with making sure that the pool gets cleaned out and all around the pool gets cleaned out.
Well, I think it's kind of silly to pay for somebody when you have like 3 able bodies.
So my daughter comes to me and she's like, Dad, can I use the leaf blower to blow all this stuff away? I'm like, okay, I guess. And I literally said, we'll see how this goes. And so she gets out the leaf blower. First of all, she's barely able to hold it up. It's like shaking her hand and everything. She goes and she's just about to finish up. And somehow the leaf blower grabs the string on her shorts and sucks it into the leaf blower.
What?
And just wraps it inside of there. Like, it just like,
did it
all of a sudden, I don't know. So
I'm just hearing this.
So basically, this thing that was going to save me time now just created. I either have to fix it or else we have to go buy a new one. So
oh my god.
Anyway, that happened today.
That has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, but that was a great story.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're excited about our guests. Oh, we got to say this. Congratulations to Australia.
Yeah.
Australia has some new products. Hey, any Aussies watching there right now? Listen, Australia has some new products. It's ProBio Fit and Vital Cleanse, which I think are really cool names, and they're supposed to. It's like
combo.
It's the Australian triplex.
Yeah, and actually, I heard someone that was taking the products that have been testing them say that they are absolutely incredible. And so
lucky Australians.
Lucky Australians. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. So are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. So we're going to bring our guests, Austin and Jennifer Harmon.
Yay.
We're going to throw you up here on the screen and to Rock the Pink Live, guys.
Yay! We're so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you. And I know that your story is going to inspire a lot of people, but let's just congratulate you guys on like a huge accomplishment. Like the teeny tippity top of the company, but going and doing that in 1 month. Sapphire and Emerald is a huge accomplishment.
Incredible.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We're excited. It was awesome.
We've been blessed.
We have the best team ever.
Yes.
Did you shed a tear at all?
Yes.
I've got it on video somewhere.
He has it on
Yeah,
video. I'm
I
like,
can share in the comments later.
it was amazing.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was.
So do you guys do a lot of live events like this for your team, or you guys do it on Facebook or anything like that?
We do live events on our team page. So we don't do a lot on Facebook Live, just more in our team page, and we share stories and different people's journeys and stuff.
We probably should do.
I know.
Jennifer does a lot of lives for the outside of our
For
team.
the world.
Right.
World.
So like stories and things, but she keeps me in a closet when it comes to the public.
Yeah.
It's my accent. So.
Well, I heard that Austin, that you just now have a desk to even work from.
Yes. So when I ranked the Emerald, I didn't have to listen. I'm an Emerald, so I can do this, because then I got to say, hey, I'm an Emerald, so I get my own desk now.
So we have a $30 IKEA desk right here. It's gonna get us to diamond.
All you need is to sit down, right? That's it.
I know I have a desk, but I always am constantly just sitting outside. That's like where I'm now, like, and do my business.
You always say that.
Do actual Plexus business.
Yes.
Do my business.
Hey, when I first started staying at home and working the business, Michelle literally got mad at me because I was in the house. Like, it was like, I was like, I have to be somewhere. I have a body. It has to be somewhere.
Well, I just feel like he was really cramping my style. Like, I felt like I couldn't do laundry because he was just like always around.
It is an adjustment. We have been through that adjustment as well.
Okay, well, that's a great place to segue, because tell us your story. Like, tell us your Plexus story. What's Plexus done for you? And then I'll ask you a follow-up question to that.
So our Plexus story. All right. So so first of all, we're from Georgia, if you can't already tell from our accent, and we have 6 kids. I'm a homeschool mom, and so when baby number 3 was born, he's 11. So I started kind of researching and looking into health. So I started taking, at this time, I found out the value of supplements, right? So I'm taking like a bazillion, like probably 20 to 25 a day supplements. I'm like taking all day long. Didn't notice any changes. So then I heard about Plexus, and I thought it was weight loss. I was pregnant with baby number 6, thought it was weight loss. And I'm like, So fast forward to 2014, and I meet Kristen Abart. We are strangers, and we're at this family conference. We meet up, and she starts sharing Plexus with me. And I was like, oh, probiotics, that's awesome. You know, you got vitamins, that's awesome. So I'm like, I'm going to check out these products and see what they do for me. So I switched over to the Triplex, and within the first month, I was like, energy, stomach problems gone, skin issues gone. So I had noticed just minor changes. I didn't think I was going to see a lot of changes because, again, I've been on supplements forever with no changes. Yeah. So when I saw changes, little changes, I mean, I didn't really have this great testimony, but I was blown away. So I did start sharing immediately because I was kind of like, why not? Let's see what happens. He didn't start the products. So I make like $300 my first month, right? Because I'm sharing consistently on Facebook. And I do that for several months in a row. My check grows. And so finally he's like, are you kidding me? What'd you say?
I'm going to have to pay taxes on this. What is this you're doing?
He's like, what are you doing? Because you're making money and I've got to pay taxes on it.
Well, I knew. I saw these checks keep coming in. I'm like, because okay, so
I gotta pay tax.
She's been.
That's what you thought.
Yes. Well, because she was with another company before, and she would be like,
I did jewelry.
She would make like $280 in a month, and she's like, I made money. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You spent $400 to make your $280. So I just assumed it was going to be the same thing, and.
Yeah.
Thankfully
and he has a finance degree, and he's a huge skeptic. So then he's like, okay, so he starts looking at the comp plan, and he's like, wait a second, this is really legit. He starts digging and looking. And so then he was like, I think we can really make like some serious like a business with this.
Because we had financial goals at that time.
Yeah.
Like we were wanting me to be able to stay at home.
Because he had been in corporate America for 18 years. Yeah. And it was a goal of ours ever since we had kids for him to be home and to do whatever he wanted to do at his own pace, right? And so we had done all the things.
Yeah.
We can list all the things. We've done a lot of different things.
And I was doing well. I mean, like.
He had a great job.
Like I was doing really well. Like the Lord had blessed us beyond measure with that job. But it just wasn't right for us.
Yeah. So we started treating Plexus like a business and not like a hobby. And by that, I mean, I started kind of setting goals and just being intentional with work time. And
I started, when I'd come home, I would take the kids, you know, and sometimes I'd take the kids to the park. There were times when they were young, I would just drive around, right? You know, I'm like, what is this meeting?
Because I would do a sip and see or something like that, you know?
Right, and I didn't really know anything about Plexus, but I knew that she needed time. So in the beginning, that's really all I did is I took the kids off of her plate to where she didn't have that to worry about. I would cook supper and things like that when I get home from work. So fast forward to January of 2018, and I was displaced from my job.
Unexpectedly.
Yes.
Wow. It was huge.
And this, like, it was huge. But it was a blessing. So, and I'll tell this. I really can't not tell this because I got to.
Oh, yes. I know what you're going to tell.
I know.
It's crazy.
Don't cry.
I won't cry.
If you start crying, I'll start crying. Okay, so when my first son was born in 2005, for 10 years, we'd wanted me to be able to stay at home and do something where I could work with him. And we ended up having 5 boys and 1 girl, so that need got huge.
Yeah.
It got really big. Like it was stressing me out, thinking my boys need a man at home. To work in a garden, to build a shed, to, you know, just to do different things, to teach them the things that my dad had taught me. And we prayed about that.
And worked.
And
all these things.
So Jennifer started working Plexus. I'd built subdivisions. I'd built houses on the side. I've done all these different things that just wasn't sustainable. Like it's not that you can't make money at it, just it wasn't sustainable for the amount of time it took.
Yeah.
Right? I was like burning on both ends. Plexus came in and I thought, man, this could really be a huge opportunity. So we started working it and we both said, when she goes Emerald, I'm going to quit. When she goes Emerald, I'm going to quit. No.
But it was a lot of, I mean.
We could have quit.
Yeah.
It's just that
scary to walk away from that much money.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, you know. I
mean, you're talking several $100,000 I'll be walking away from. And I don't know how many people are on here. I shouldn't have said that. But it was a big deal to walk away from there. Wow. And we kept praying and said, Lord, just show us. And literally, I kept saying from the time he was little, by the time he's a teenager, I want to do that.
That was like always, by the time he was 13. That was like the end all of the end alls, right?
So in October of 2017, we said, we're going to do it. We said, no, let's do it.
Because I went Emerald May of 2017.
Right. And then we're going to do it in October. We didn't do it. We're going to do it in December. No, we're just not quite ready. If I can just get a little bit more in savings. So in January, 3 days before Luke turned 13.
3 days after.
3 days after Luke turned 13. I lost my job. And it
was like we were getting kicked out.
And we've been praying that God would just show us. And it's like, I'll show you, all right.
So we got kicked. It was like, boom. And we were like, okay. So now what do we do? You know, your instant gut feeling is like, okay, let's go get another job. Like right back where we were.
And up until that point, we've been working Plexus, but we really weren't working Plexus. So like all of last year, I had no idea what we were doing. Like I was literally, just like y'all were saying, she's like, what are you doing? Do something. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Because I didn't know how. I'd come into this business and it was all, this is a woman's business, you know? I mean, I can only take the kids away for so long before I go crazy. So, so last year, I started saying, you know what, we got to treat this more like a business. And I started applying some of the things I'd learned in my job of, looking to, I didn't use consultants, but I looked at like people that were in the business that knew what they were doing. People like Bob Heilig, people like John Maxwell. Now we really started researching some things. And in January, we started making some changes within our team. And some things like because in a nutshell, we didn't know how we got the Emerald, and we couldn't teach people how to do what we didn't know how to do.
Yeah, I mean,
so we put systems in place in January that taught people how to go silver, taught people how to message people, taught people how to onboard someone. When you get a new ambassador, what do you do? We put all those in January, and we also started changing the way we reached out to people, because we weren't really reaching out to people. We were just kind of talking them to death until they signed up. And
then we started doing accountability calls.
We started. That was huge.
That was huge.
Such a blessing.
Yeah.
And we were also, and I don't want to say that it wasn't us. We were praying like a lot in 2018 to the God to show us and open up doors, and He did. And some of these things that we put in place really started paying off, not in the first month, because
well, it's just like anything. This is a 90-day business.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
I'll tell you this thing. I don't even know if Jennifer knows this, but we used some of Bob Heilig's stuff. And in January, I implemented it. And in February, my points went down. All of our points went down. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm like, it's Bob Heilig. I'm like, hey, Bob.
This is not working.
This is not working. He's like, this is completely normal.
Yeah, he did.
He said, this is completely normal. And he actually had us on one of his, just like this.
Like a hot seat.
Yeah, like asking us questions. He's like, you guys are doing great. And I'm like, our points are going down.
That is not great.
That is not great. But it came back up, right? Yeah. And it came back up in a huge way. And we obviously went Emerald in last month, and then we went Sapphire last month. And I told Jennifer, if we keep growing the way we're growing, we'll be Diamond this year and Sapphire this year.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully. We're praying. But it's still going to take work. It's not like we can just sit back and let it go. We still have to like teach the new people.
Can you elaborate a little bit? Because I want to make sure people actually understand what it means when you say this is a 90-day business. I want to make sure that people know what that means.
Yeah. Well, Jarrett says I talk too much, so he said, Austin, on this video, let Jennifer talk. So.
Well, now that's really going to stress me out about this one, because I'm just like, it's just a 9-day business, Tim. Okay, so for me, it's like, okay, well, when you reach out to people, and you've got to plant those seeds. I mean, I think of our business as like a garden type business. I make my contacts, I reach out, I'm constantly, trying to build a relationship. And a lot of times I see the fruit of that in 90 days. It took me 90 days to go silver.
Yeah.
These people that are, and okay, that's one thing I want to add right here for the people that are like, oh, well, you probably had this, like, don't assume anything with people in this business at all. I had 300 Facebook friends. I was not on social media pretty much at all, maybe once or twice a month. But I learned those things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was intentional about it. Whatever Kristen said, that's what I did. I mean, really, I was coachable because, I was like, she's successful. If she's telling me to do this, do that. So I think, it still took me 3 months to go silver. We got people that go silver in 3 days or 3 hours, So just because your timeline doesn't look like someone else's, don't discredit yourself at all. Yeah. But I don't know. What's your thoughts about 90 days?
So I completely agree. What you sow today, it takes time to see the results of it. And still, even today, I don't think we've seen all the fruits of our systems that we've got in place, because you have to, like, I forget how many times it is someone has to see something before they remember it. But like, we were talking with someone today who I thought for sure knew a particular thing that we'd been saying for the last 6 months. She's like, I don't know that, and I'm like,
don't assume. Yeah, we've realized we've assumed a lot. Like you were saying, we assume people know what a 90-day business is. Well, they don't necessarily know what that means.
My mom used to say, I failed as a mother when I would mess up. And I'm like, I failed as a leader. It takes time and repetition of doing the same thing over and over and over and over again.
I think that's easy to forget, the repetition, because it's so second nature to us. So many things are.
And it's a hard.
Go ahead.
I would just say, this business is a rough adjustment, because if you were like me, I was educated to work a 9-to-5 job. I was taught that from the time I was little, and I worked that 9-to-5 job, and if I didn't get paid on Friday, I got paid on the following Friday. So going from that for 18 years, or even from 12 years, whatever it is, to not seeing results immediately, and maybe not even in my first 60 days, is hard. It is a different mindset that you have to learn. And when you say 90-day business, it's a lot more than that, because you have to understand that what you're doing today may not show up for sometimes a year, or more. So
well, I would agree 100% with that. And I was thinking that you guys were actually talking about the actual business cycle, because it's about 60 to 90 days before the work that you do today, even if you sign somebody up as a new ambassador, before that really starts to reflect in your back office as growth. It's a 60-day process. And depending on what they do, it's 90 days before you see things out of that. Right. So, I was thinking you were talking about cycles, because they do go in that. They go about 60 to 90 days in cycles too. The other thing is, we do get impatient with the growth process, but there are two different kinds of people. There are the people who say, I want what I want and I want it now. And then the people who say, I can hold off on what I want right now for the better thing that I can get down the road.
Yes.
And that's one of the hardest things that there is. It is hard. It's hard to make that transition in your mind. It's hard to flip the switch. If you're one of those people that's been used to always seeing, the results come, and, even people who have a really good head on their shoulders, it's still a transition.
Yeah.
But if you're one of those people and you see this business and you don't really grab onto the reality that the best stuff comes down the road and it's way better.
Yeah.
Then you do run the risk of selling yourself short, not achieving your dreams, not being able to accomplish the things that you really wanted to go for because you were too focused on right here, right now. Because real money does come, but you got to work the business as though it's a business, like you started off saying.
Yeah, I love that.
So what do you guys like when you I love the dynamic, and I think it's so funny because you guys are like the cutest couple, and I remember I just lost my train of thought. So you guys are like working this full time, right? I mean, this is what you are doing. You're gonna make this happen. And Tim and I have been doing this full time together for like almost 6 years, like 5.5 years now. And people ask us like, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay in the game? And I'm always like, well, like we don't have a choice. Like this isn't like, I don't have a choice not to. Like, I don't get that option.
Yeah. It's either this or get a job.
Option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people like, so I love it to like relate. And I always think people have said to us like, oh, you guys have to work all the time. I'm like, no, this is not working all the time. We've both worked full time, having 3 kids. That's working all the time.
Right.
Yes.
What we have is not working all the time.
Yeah.
And so I would love to hear like, what's your guys' thoughts on just like motivation, like kind of maybe your daily stuff. How do you guys work this business like together and separate? Like, kind of how do you guys do this?
Whew, that's loaded. Because
tell them at all what I was going to ask them.
It's just kind of fluid, like it kind of changes. There's like an ebb and flow, but there's some things that I don't know, we're kind of stick with regardless of what our schedule looks like.
There's some aspects of the business that she works that I don't work, and then there's some aspects of the business that I work. So like, I'll give you one example. Is first of all, we both do recruiting. We both, and that's one thing that we started recently this year in January, is we both start recruiting, and it's paid off big time.
Yeah. Because
I believe the lie that there for a while that this was only a woman's business, and it's just not true. It's just not true. But like, I'll do like the recognition post for our team because I'm the numbers guy, and I can get back in our back office and I can find that, and I do the post. And then
generally do the calls or bi-monthly calls. I'll do that.
Yes.
And a lot more of the daily like posting and challenges, IPA challenges, things like that. So I do more of that kind of stuff.
And then I run the accountability calls.
We have those every
but we do
Tuesday.
Those together. But I'm the one that like removes people if they don't do what they're supposed to do. Jennifer.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
no,
I hate that.
No, but everybody goes into it knowing everything.
Right. And then, but Jennifer will we get on there, we do them together, and then she'll do training one week, and then we'll both do training sometimes. Mm-hmm. And we've really found like a good rhythm with each other as far as like what we need to do. He's
great at pulling things out of people. I think just because the different, like in the color world, the MLM, Big Al's book, I'm a blue, he's a red. So he can pull out things from people that it's easier just because his personality. So I love working together with him because he's like, hey, you said this was going to be your goal. Let's get that goal. What's going on?
And there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'm going to send this. And she's like, no, don't send this.
Yeah, I'm like, no. Fine. We're going to change some of those words.
Yeah.
But so we just kind of tag team. We kind of find what he's better at, what I'm better at. And so we just kind of, go like that. So every day we try to, we do reach out to people.
Yeah, that's number one thing.
Like reach out.
Actually,
and we obviously have team page work, and then just anything, the normal, like trying to help people get to silver, help people meet their ranks. So that's just kind of a daily thing.
I love it. I encourage people, like that's been our biggest thing is that we're not going to do the exact same things. Why would we do the exact same things?
Right. No.
And so, I mean, I think that it took us probably longer than it's taken you guys. For some reason, it was a little tough for us to find our rhythm. But it's good now. And just like focusing on what we each have our strengths in is like so important.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's made our marriage stronger, I think. Like, I feel like even though we had a great marriage, we had a great marriage, but I feel like we're
working together
a whole lot closer than we were than I ever thought we could be. And we had I'm going to say, we had a great marriage before, right? Like we talked all day long when I was at work, and now, we don't have to talk as much because we're here all the time, but it's like really brought us closer as far as like, we're always on the same page. We're always talking to each other. And it's a blessing.
I love that.
Well, we've only got a couple minutes left, but I would, since I've got you on here and, we're trying to reveal to people that this is a guy's business too. We want people to understand that. And it's really great when couples can work this together. But before we started this live interview, you and I were talking a little bit, and we said, it is different for guys, and there are some things that are a little bit more difficult. And I think it's important to actually address that and let people know that, because if you know it, you know what you're getting into, it's still worth it. What are some of the things that you feel like maybe a little bit more difficult, and what are you doing to overcome that?
So I think the hardest part is the building of the team. Okay. So when we sign someone up, a lot of the longevity of their business depends on the relationship they have with their leaders. So as a married man, I have to be careful about stuff like that, right? So like that comes, and it may not be so much with them, but it is with me. So I have to think about things like that. And I'm like I hardly ever have any kind of conversation with people, especially women, without Jennifer in that chat. Okay. Just because I never want to give anybody any kind of false impression. But that being said, there's times when I've messaged people and I've brought Jennifer into it just to introduce them. I've got them warm, like a warm contact, and then she may go to another chat, because sometimes, and this is where it gets hard for me, is if they have woman issues, right? I don't want to talk about that, So I'm very quick and very upfront is, hey, message my wife, and that's worked for us.
Yeah.
And there's times when Jennifer can't get someone to respond, but I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the red in me that just like, I'm just going to ask you.
A little bit more direct.
You know?
Yeah.
But like people's ignored Jennifer before, and then I'll message them and they respond to me. Like the way I say it or whatever. And that's just, I think it's with anything is some people respond to different people in different ways. So, but I do think that this is my thing. Network marketing was not a woman's business in 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Women did not go around knocking on doors selling things to moms that were staying at home. It was traveling salesmen. Right? So
for the most part, I would love to see statistics on that.
I'm just saying, I mean, it's the truth. Like men went around and sold to women. So what's changed? Nothing. I just think it's men's right up here is what's changed. So I don't have a problem reaching out to a woman about the business. I just want to be very careful with the way the world is you know?
Yeah.
There's only one woman for me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great advice, and I've tried a lot of different things to build my business. And the one thing that I've found to be more difficult is reaching out through social media to people that you don't know, where you can as a woman, you can kind of go through and send messages to a whole bunch of people, and nobody's gonna guess most of the time that you've got the wrong motives. Whereas with a guy, what I find is a lot of times people have an impression that for some reason, maybe it's because women get messages from weirdos all the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, I've noticed that there's a difference in responsiveness to that. So for me, one of the things I've really tried to focus on is that personal interaction in person, and trying to be more aware of my daily interactions with people.
Yeah.
Because I can build in person and people can get the gist of who I am a whole lot more when I'm face to face than they can if I'm sending a message. So I've really focused on that. But then there are other aspects of the business that I think are probably easier for guys, and maybe at least some guys. You know, I think that there's a balance, and I think that it works really well, especially when husbands and wives work together.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is great with numbers and breaking things down like that. I mean, like he's huge with stuff like that. So that's a really big asset for our team.
And I've learned too, like you said, is you can't read someone's face in a chat.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can say the same thing in a chat and then message it. And I've actually had people say, I'm glad you messaged that because that's not the way it come across when you said it before. Because I message stuff and I'm like, I bet she won't read that right. Because that's one of my strengths is knowing what people think usually and like reading them. And I'm like, they're going to read this wrong. So I'll message them. And it's a huge difference, especially for me. And like Jennifer could say the same thing and they wouldn't think anything about it. But to me, it's like,
makes the difference.
Hairy man, what are you doing?
Well, you guys have been such a blessing tonight. Like everything that you shared, it's so inspiring. It's so like a breath of fresh air. You guys are brand new. Your ranks are brand new, so it's all exciting. And you know, I foresee you guys just continuing to grow.
Keep going. Keep going. Set the tone.
I love it.
We want to. We want to be an inspiration, and I'm like, you know, you guys can do this.
Yeah. Because I mean, and I think it's just a skill set we learn.
Yeah.
Like any other job.
It's an amazing one. It's an amazing business.
And the potential is just unlimited.
Absolutely.
So. People sell them, just like you said, sell themselves short. They come in, they see other people where they're at, and they didn't see the 6 years of growth.
Right.
I mean, the truth is that I was the same way. I didn't have hardly any Facebook friends. I never posted on social media. I was scared to death to talk in front of people. I had a really irrational fears. And at the end of the day, I saw the potential in this. Actually, I didn't even see the potential in it, but Tim and I like to say we were dumb enough to believe. We were just dumb enough to trust the process.
Yeah.
And I think that like it's paid off, you know, like this.
I would say so.
Yeah.
And so I think that people just stop overthinking this. Just do the work daily.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the things you have to do and trust God, you know, at the end of the day, because you know, you can't necessarily always control the outcome, but you can control what you do. And so Anyways, what'd you write?
I'm just making a note. Well, you guys,
like, what?
she gets distracted so easily. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys have been amazing.
Yeah.
You've definitely brought the goods, and I think people. This was a unique kind of conversation, and we're definitely excited for you guys. And we'll be watching. We want to see you keep going and blazing the trail. More of us need to get out there and just keep on showing people what can be done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, well, everybody go out there and have a great week and continue to rock the peak. Good night.
Good night.